Sebastian Pina hates me for a whole decade after his true love's death. I try to please him at every turn, but he merely scoffs. If you really want to make me happy, you should go to hell. That hits hard. However, when a truck hurtles toward me, Sebastian throws himself at me. He saves me, but he dies in a pool of his blood. Before he breathes his last breath, he looks into my eyes and says, "If only I'd never met you." His mother is devastated at his funeral. Everyone regrets having Sebastian marry me, myself included. I'm kicked out of the funeral. 3 years later, someone invents a time machine, and I travel back in time. This time, I'm going to sever all ties with Sebastian. Everyone will get the happiness they deserve. The time machine exploded into a blinding light. I squeezed my eyes shut, but suddenly, I heard Sebastian Pina's mocking voice close to my ear. "My parents are practically threatening to kill themselves if I don't marry you, Sienna Rouse. You must be proud of yourself. But even if we go through with this wedding, what do you think you'll actually get out of it? Do you think we're going to be happy?" My eyes snapped open, and there he was. Sebastian, standing right in front of me. The time machine had worked. I was back in the past. But something had gone wrong. It hadn't taken me to the moment we first met. Instead, I was standing at the spot from 13 years ago, on the day Sebastian and I were about to get married. At least it wasn't too late to change things. In both my past and present lives, I had loved Sebastian for many years. He had risked everything to save me twice, and I had foolishly believed it meant he had feelings for me too. It wasn't until his first love died that I realized I was never the one he loved. The crushing words he said before he died, that he wished he had never met me, broke me completely. My 10 years of love had been 10 years of torment for him. Before I turned the dial on the time machine, someone had warned me, only by fulfilling Sebastian's 3 greatest regrets could I break the toxic bond between us. If I succeeded, he would no longer die because of me at 30. After that, we could finally live the peaceful lives we both deserved. I lowered my head and wrote down Jillian's name on the marriage license application instead of mine. I remembered clearly what Sebastian had once written in his journal, the 3 regrets that haunted him: regretting marrying Sienna, regretting not standing up to his parents, regretting not saving Jillian. Today, at least, I had helped him fix the first one. Holding 2 copies of the marriage certificate, I walked out the door. Sebastian was waiting for me just outside. Without thinking, he reached for the papers in my hands, flipping one open to look, but I quickly grabbed his hand, stopping him. I gave Sebastian a gentle smile. "Sebastian, check it tomorrow. There'll be a surprise," I said softly. He let out a cold laugh and turned away. If I hadn't known he didn't love me, I might have thought he was just shy. Just then, I heard a young couple nearby chatting excitedly. "There's gonna be a once-in-a-century meteor shower tonight. Legend has it that couples who watch it together will stay in love forever. Let's go see it, babe." My steps slowed. I remembered that on this same day in my previous life, I had clung to a small, selfish hope that maybe Sebastian could fall in love with me if we watched the meteor shower together. But all I got in return were his cold, cutting words. He had said, "A couple who's just going through the motions watches a meteor shower, and you think that'll make it real? By that logic, if the whole world watched it together, there wouldn't be a single unhappy marriage. What kind of fantasy are you living in?" This time, I didn't dare to hope anymore. But to my surprise, Sebastian suddenly spoke. "Are you coming to see the meteor shower or not?" Snapping back to reality, I gave him a bright smile. "Sure, tonight, we'll watch the meteor shower together." Only then did Sebastian's frown finally ease. Just then, his phone rang. After answering, his brow immediately furrowed. Jillian hurt her hand. "I'm gonna go check on her. You head home by yourself, okay?" I nodded. "All right." He looked at me, surprised. "You used to hate it when I went to see her. What? You had a change of heart?" I opened my mouth to say something, but he let out a cold laugh before I could. "Right. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. We're married now, so she's no threat to you. Text me when you get home. I'm heading out." He climbed into the car and left, never once seeing the disappointment and bitter smile on my face. The truth was, I had never really tried to stop him from caring about Jillian. It was just that one time, Sebastian's parents and I had accidentally witnessed Jillian kissing a much older man. After digging a little deeper, we found out she had long been kept by different sugar daddies. Only then had I tried desperately to keep Sebastian from getting too involved with her. But he never knew. Even after Jillian's death, he spent 10 whole years drowning in guilt and grief. If I had to choose, I would rather see him together with Jillian than watch him suffer endless pain, and in the end, die because of me. Guilt and self-reproach could crush a person completely. I let out a sigh, went to the school to secure my recommendation for direct admission, then headed home. When June Tucker, Sebastian's mother, saw me walk in, she happily grabbed my hands. Watching this warm, familiar scene unfold in front of me, my eyes stung with emotion. "Mr. and Mrs. Pina, Sebastian and I didn't get the certificate. I've completed my paperwork for studying abroad. I'm planning to leave in a few days," I said. June looked stunned. "What do you mean you didn't get the certificate? Did Sebastian bully you? He's all talk, but deep down, he cares about you a lot, you know." I gently grabbed June's hand and said softly, "Please don't get upset. Let me explain first. As much as I hate to admit it, you can't force love. Sebastian, he never really loved me, and if it weren't for family pressure, he never would have agreed to marry me. The root of it all, it was me. I was the mistake, and I don't want to keep making the same mistake again. I've already finalized my plans to study abroad, and I'll always remember your kindness. I promise. I'll still take care of you in the future." Finally, Sebastian's parents managed a watery smile, and in the end, they agreed to let me go. I thought about the second wish Sebastian had written in his journal. Maybe for now, this counted as fulfilling it. The time machine would only let me stay here for 36 hours, and now, I had just just one last regret left to fix. Would I be able to do it? As night fell, I made my way alone to the observatory. It was the perfect place to watch the meteor shower. I leaned against the railing, unable to stop a faint sense of anticipation from blooming inside me. I didn't know how long I had been waiting when the door behind me suddenly opened. I turned around, eyes lighting up with hope. Sebastian, you came. But his expression was dark, stormy. He crossed the room in just a few quick steps, his eyes burning with anger. Sienna, just because I didn't take you home and went to see Jillian instead, you ran off to complain to my parents? Do you even realize what you've done? They called her and tore into her over the phone. She got distracted, and while crossing the street, she was hit by a car. She's bleeding out now, and she might die. Are you happy now? I froze where I stood. In my past life, Jillian had also died from massive blood loss after a car accident, because the blood bank didn't have enough supply in time. If, before this, Sebastian's cruelty had been limited to cold words and cutting remarks, after that day, it turned into real, burning hatred. But that hadn't happened until a month after we got married. Why had it happened so much earlier this time? I had been wondering how I was going to fulfill Sebastian's third regret. And now fate had placed it right in front of me. I looked at him calmly. So, you came to ask me to donate blood for her? At that, Sebastian let out a bitter, disbelieving laugh, his fury only deepening. Do you think I wouldn't dare? This is exactly what you owe her. He grabbed my wrist and dragged me toward the hospital. When we arrived, I immediately donated 1 pint of my blood. As the blood left my body, I felt my strength drain with it. I was weak and lightheaded. The nurses frowned as they reviewed the results. This isn't enough. We still need at least 10 more minutes to get more blood in from other locations. There's no guarantee the patient will hold on that long. I glanced at Sebastian. His eyes were locked on the woman lying on the bed, Jillian. The moment he saw Jillian's pale face, the pain and worry in his expression were impossible to miss. A nurse came in to remove the band around my wrist, but I gently stopped her. Could you draw another pint? The nurse's eyes widened in shock, and she immediately tried to stop me. No, you can't. The maximum allowed in one donation is 1 pint, but I just smiled. It's okay. I'll recover. Saving her is more important. A doctor burst out of the emergency room, shouting urgently, "The blood supply isn't enough. Push for more blood units immediately. The patient is running out of time." I urged the nurse to hurry. She gave me a grateful look. "Miss, you're such a good person. When the patient wakes up, she's going to be so thankful for you." Sienna, Sebastian opened his mouth, his voice hoarse. "I'll make it up to you." As the needle pierced my vein again, I smiled at him gently. "It's all right. I'm doing this willingly." He had once risked his life to save me. Protecting the person he loved was the least I could do, but I had underestimated the consequences of donating too much blood. The next thing I knew, I collapsed. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself lying on a hospital bed. "You're awake. Jillian's awake too, and it's thanks to you. You donated just in time." I turned my head to look at Sebastian. "That's good," I said. He froze when he saw how pale I looked, then awkwardly cleared his throat. "I promised to watch the meteor shower with you, but I didn't keep my word. I remember you once said you wanted to go to Morvia. In a few days I'll take you there. We can travel together." I was caught off guard by the fact that he even remembered that. For a moment, I was stunned, but then I quickly shook my head. There's no need. For once, Sebastian didn't mock me or act sarcastic. Instead, he pulled out his phone and immediately booked plane tickets for 5 days later. At that moment, his secretary came rushing out of the emergency room. "Mr. Pina, Ms. Brown is awake." Sebastian's face lit up immediately. "I'll go check on her," he said quickly, turning to leave. But I softly called out his name. He turned back, and I gave him a bright, radiant smile. "I'm sorry, Sebastian. I hope you live a long, happy life, and that all your wishes come true." He immediately sensed something was wrong. "What do you mean?" "I'm just going to check on Jillian. I have something to tell you. Wait for me, okay?" Without waiting for my reply, he hurried away. There was less than half an hour left before I would return to the past life. I pulled the IV needle from my hand and got up, walking slowly toward the hospital exit. Meanwhile, after visiting Jillian, Sebastian came back carrying several containers of tonic broth, but when he stepped into my hospital room, it was empty. Frowning, he called my name a few times, but there was no response. An uneasy feeling crept into his chest. He instinctively pulled out his phone to call me. At that moment, his secretary came running in, panting and out of breath. "Mr. Pina, something terrible has happened," he shouted between gasps. 10 minutes ago, Miss Rose was in a car accident. She suffered massive blood loss, and because the hospital's blood supply was critically low, Ms. Rose was pronounced dead after failed resuscitation.